Studies are being done by really large organizations to try to quantify what is the cost. What is the cost of burnout in, say, a company, a large global company, or a small mom and pop shop? What is the cost, the human cost of burnout, and what is the actual hard cost? And there's a lot of things that factor into that. If you take, for example, if an employee in an organization gets burned out, they stop functioning at their optimal level, they maybe are causing conflict or starting to just go dormant, what is the cost of that person leaving? That actually shows up as a real hard cost. What is their salary? What does it cost to replace them? What does the work that goes undone between the time they quit and the time that you find a replacement? Those kinds of things are very costly. And then there's more hidden costs that are like, what is the cost to tool up other team members to a new team member? And it's a hard thing to quantify, and we're getting better at it, but it is very expensive. And that's just if one employee is doing this. If you have, say, 15% of your workforce that is explaining that they are in burnout, what is the cost to your organization if that is the case? Now that's thinking about it from like the hard costs in the organization, never mind mission achievement, whatever that mission might be, gets compromised along the way. But what about the personal cost? Yes, we care about an organization and how that's functioning, but what about for the person? What about when you are waking up in the morning and you just don't have any more energy? What about all the shame and guilt that starts to pile on to a feeling like that? What about the fear? What about how long is this going to be? What else could I do for work? Would anyone notice if I just evaporated? There are very, very dark thoughts that start to creep into the minds and hearts and souls of people who are really in serious burnout. This is a very important point for us to understand, that this is not just a word that we toss around. Oh, it's burnout, it's burnout, it's burnout. Guess what? These are humans. These are family members. These are our loved ones. And when burnout lasts for a long time, if we ignore the signs that something's not right, either in ourselves or in a loved one or a team member, worse scenarios unfold. We have to be clear-eyed about this. This is not just a word that shows up in headlines. This becomes very, very serious and at times quite dire. At Soul Care, we help organizations and people deal with burnout, flame out, and dropout. But they have a nice rhyme to them. But let's think about each of these. Burnout, there's a complete exhaustion of someone's resources. Flame out gets really serious within personal lives and organizations when somebody's life gets so unmanageable that all of a sudden some big thing gets exposed, some sexual indiscretion or some massive financial embezzlement that was going on happens and gets exposed. It's a flame out that often, and the reason we use that expression is it has a bit of a blast radius. It's going to impact more than just that person, just that team, just that family. When something big like that blows up, it impacts a ton of people. And so the cost of burnout becomes even higher when something like a flame out starts to emerge. And then there's this, we've talked about quiet quitting, I think, for a whole year, but dropout is the other. It's just when people just stop showing up as themselves. It's like their whole world has gone from color to black and white, and they don't actually see things the way they are any longer. They're not dealing with the full, robust version of themselves or anyone else they deal with, and it's become very monochromatic. And when we're in that space, we end up even further just sort of self-selecting out, opting out of life, of friendships, of neighborhoods, of community service, of a church organization. So when you take all those things together, the collective loss of burnout, the tragic ends of flame out, and then the more silent but subtle and very real dropout, where people just start to fade. This is a very costly fact of modern life. And it matters, friends, that we really look at it honestly. We're so glad you're here.